You are not watching this by coincidence. Somewhere inside you, there is a part of your heart that already knows exactly why this message found you tonight. Maybe you have felt it before. That quiet pressure to soften what you believe, to stay silent when you should speak, to blend in instead of standing apart. Maybe you have wondered, is it wrong to be this different? Is it wrong to hold on this tightly? Allah begins this surah with a single command, say, O Prophet, O you disbelievers. Before anything else, before explanation, before comfort, Allah commands His messenger to speak clearly, not to hide, not to soften, not to negotiate, just to say it plainly. This surah was revealed at a moment when the leaders of Quraysh offered what looked like peace. Worship our gods for 1 year, they said, and we will worship your God for 1 year. On the surface it sounded reasonable. Compromise, mutual respect, a middle ground. But some things were never meant to be divided. Tawhid, the worship of Allah alone, cannot be shared, traded, or diluted for the sake of comfort. Maybe you have faced your own version of this offer. Not idols, not ancient tribes, but pressure all the same. Pressure to loosen a principle so people accept you more easily. Pressure to stay quiet about your faith so no one feels uncomfortable. Pressure to blend your identity into something more convenient. Allah answers, I do not worship what you worship. Think about what you worship. Not statues, not idols made of stone, but whatever sits at the center of your heart, whatever you chase the hardest, whatever controls your mood, your decisions, your fear, your comfort. Allah warns us of those who have taken their own desires as their God. Whatever occupies the center of the heart slowly shapes the entire person. If status becomes your God, approval will control you. If money becomes your God, fear of losing it will control you. But if Allah becomes the center, everything else finally finds its place. This is why the Prophet, peace be upon him, could not accept even the smallest compromise. Not because he lacked mercy, not because he lacked wisdom, but because worship was never his to divide. The surah repeats itself. Nor do you worship what I worship, nor will I be a worshipper of what you worship. This repetition is not empty. It is a firm answer to an offer that kept returning. Every time pressure came again, the response remained the same. No negotiation, no compromise. Some scholars call this a rhetorical intensifying, removing every possibility of doubt. Some truths do not bend no matter how many times the question is asked. Maybe you feel that pressure returning in your own life too. Not once, but again and again. A conversation, a relationship, a workplace, a moment where staying firm feels harder than simply giving in. But listen carefully. The truth does not become weaker just because it becomes inconvenient to hold on to. Allah commands, so be steadfast as you are commanded, O Prophet, and do not transgress. Steadfastness was never promised to be easy. It was only promised to be worth it. Among the believers were men who have proven true to what they pledged to Allah, and they have never changed their commitment in the least. Their faith was not seasonal. It did not disappear during hardship and return during ease. It remained the same in every condition, because their commitment was never to convenience. It was to Allah. Ask yourself honestly tonight, is your faith consistent when life is difficult, or only when life is comfortable? Is your commitment to Allah steady, or does it rise and fall with your mood, your circumstances, your surroundings? The Prophet, peace be upon him, remained the same man in Makkah under persecution as he was after victory in Medina. His circumstances changed completely. His devotion never moved. And yet, none of this required hostility. This surah does not end in anger, it ends in peace. You have your way, and I have my way. This is not confusion about truth. It is clarity without arrogance. The Prophet conveyed the message fully. He remained firm completely. And still, he treated people with justice and kindness, because Allah does not forbid you from dealing kindly and fairly with those who have neither fought nor driven you out of your homes. Surely Allah loves those who are fair. There is no compulsion here, no forced belief, because the truth stands out clearly from falsehood. You do not need to argue louder to prove conviction. You do not need bitterness to prove sincerity. True confidence does not come from winning arguments. It comes from certainty in Allah. Maybe tonight, this is the reminder your heart has been waiting for, that you do not have to choose between kindness and conviction, that you can be gentle with people and still completely firm with Allah, that standing apart is not a burden, it is a form of freedom, because the heart that only serves Allah is no longer a slave to opinions, approval, or fear. So tonight, whatever pressure you are facing to dilute what you believe, remember this surah. Remember the courage it demanded. Remember the steadiness it required. And remember that clarity, once spoken sincerely, becomes one of the deepest forms of peace a heart can carry. You have your way, and Allah alone deserves yours.